This is a really fun part of the meeting where we get to practice our impromptu speaking. As I said earlier, the theme for the day is time management, so the questions that I prepared for you all relate to that. Also, it's time management / priorities. The word of the day is promulgate, which, like I said earlier, also means to declare or to make known to the world. So when you come up to do your speeches, try to use that word within the speech. And we like to do like a little jazz snap for you guys if you can remember to do it. So let's get things rolling. The first question for the night is, what are the priorities in your life right now?
The priorities in my life right now. Good evening, Miss Table Topics, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The priorities in my life right now is to get out of this school. I am graduating this semester, so my top priority is passing all my classes with C's, C's and B's, and just pretty much get out of Sac State and go get me a real job. I'm scared. I've been applying to many fashion stores here in the area and also in San Francisco and LA. So I'm really hoping one of those places will turn out. My also priority is for the club is to make sure this club lives on for next semester, because we all want to come back here next semester, right? Yeah. Yes. And can you rephrase the word of the day, please?
Promulgate, or use it in another sentence.
Or what is it mean?
To make known.
Oh. I am going to promulgate that this December is going to be very busy for me because I will be graduating and also I'll be getting everything ready for the club to be transferred over to someone else. And also, it's going to be my birthday. So it's going to be a very, very busy rest of the semester for myself. But those are my priorities. Miss Table Topics?
Thank you, Thomas. Nice job. I can definitely tell you have a busy semester going on. I thought it was kind of funny you left your birthday as the last priority, because if it was me, that would have been the first priority. But anyway, moving on to the second question. What excuses do you give people when they want to hang out but you don't have time or you just don't want to hang out? Any volunteers for that? Okay, I'm going to call on somebody. Okay, Jerry, come on up.
So, since the beginning of school, me and my friend Joe have been hitting the gym 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I got this new routine figured out. It's like 5 workouts, you know, it's like a 5x5, you do 5 sets, 5 reps. These 5 workouts, and pretty much like since the beginning of the semester, I've been really like amped every day, like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym, gonna work out, gonna like throw these weights around, gonna you know, pump some iron. Until this Monday. That's when you know the midterm storm begins gathering on the horizon, and you're like, oh no, got to start, you know, cutting corners. Things have to start being tossed aside, things like that. You know, you start falling off the wagon. So all weekend I was like, oh, what am I gonna tell Joe? He's gonna think I'm, you know, he's gonna think I'm wimping out on him. That I'm gonna, you know, stop working out. That I'm gonna start eating McDonald's. That I'm gonna, you know, become a big old fatty like him. So all this weekend, I'm driving myself crazy, driving myself up the wall, like, oh, how do I get out of this? Because I'm not going to have time to work out. I'm going to have to, you know, start studying for my classes. So I'm thinking, finally, I think I settle on, all right, I'm just going to tell him the truth. I'm just going to tell him I have midterms, dude. It's cool. He's going to make fun of me. He's not going to, you know, he's going to be like, oh, why don't you manage your time better? Because he's so good with that. He can study for midterms and work out. So I'm like, fine, I'll just tell him the truth. So that night, we hear some weird like screeching outside and some howling. I'm like, what the heck? So it turns out somebody up in the heavens answered my call and gave me the perfect excuse. My dog got sprayed by a skunk, and I have to go home to give her a bath.
activities to fit into your schedule right now? Something that you wish you did more of?
Well, have any of you had an art where you've put 10 years into it, you feel really good when you do it, it just brings so much fun and joy to your life, but you're just too busy to keep going? Well, that's happened to me this semester. I miss jazz. Taking out my horn, going with a group of guys and girls who are just putting their heart into it and jamming, putting together great music, and I miss it so much. I had this fire in my belly that makes me just want to go around jamming. And, due to the constraints of being a broke college student and someone who has to put in hours a day, 40, 50 hours a week to make ends meet, I don't get that opportunity as much as I used to. I mean, I still get to play. I play with a band nonprofit, but that's only enough to keep my skills at where they are. There's no more room for that growth that I want. And it's something I have to schedule for next year, and it's something I miss greatly. But, green pastures ahead, and I'm going to have to make sure to double time my sax hours next year. So.
All right, thank you, Jordan. I definitely think that's a good pastime. I admire that you can play an instrument. That's something I've always wanted to do. But one thing I did forget to mention before we started was the timing constraint. So if we can have the timer tell us the constraints.
So for table topics, we have a 2-minute timing constraint. At 1 minute, you'll get the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, you'll get the yellow card. And then at 2 minutes, you get the red card, and you have 30 seconds to wrap it up. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is, do you believe that me time is a priority when you're living a busy life? Maybe talk about something you do to have me time and de-stress. Okay, Tiffany.
I definitely think me time is so important. Coming from a yoga background, prior to that, I was a go person, super type A, wanted to get things done, and I never took any time for myself. And when I started to do yoga, and I realized that I really couldn't help people or give people my time if I couldn't help myself first. And yoga definitely, and just little things in general, taking time out of the day to just sit down, relax, meditate, do yoga, watch YouTube, anything like that. But just kind of recenter yourself, that way you can give your energy to other people, I think is huge. That way you can kind of it's your recharge, and then you can go back and do whatever you need to do throughout your day-to-day life. So I definitely think me time is so important. Thank you.
I love that you said yoga, because I love yoga myself, and I totally agree. It's just a really cool way to let all your stress go, and meditation and all that. So if you guys haven't tried it, I'd recommend it for sure. The next question I have is, let's see, do you feel that your cell phone can be a distraction when it comes to time management? Like you're go, or you know you need to focus on something. Can your cell phone be a distraction? Please come on.
Thank you. This is the bane of my existence. This cell phone. It distracts me from all the things I should be doing. I work for the state of California, and they think that while I'm at my desk, I should be working, promulgating regulations. What am I really doing? Somewhere on here, easily for me to find, is a chess game. Yes, a chess game. I've been playing chess since I was about 7 years old, and it's hard to find people to play against. Really? Who else here plays chess? Yes. Now you have partners. So you don't have to use this cell phone to distract you from what you do. Now, do you have chess on your phone?
Yes,
You do, and you play it frequently, don't you? You should be doing your math homework, shouldn't you? Right? You can do both? Yeah, and you, sir? Do you play this on your phone?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, when you should be doing something else?
That's when I do it.
Ah, exactly. It's a distraction. I actually sometimes use this to help me concentrate, too. When I am trying to get something done, and my mind feels like it's going in 13 directions, I'll pull this out for a game. It takes me 5 or 10 minutes. I get beat by the computer, and then I know I can get back to what I was doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Lance. I think that was a really good example of how someone's to be distracted. I was thinking more along the lines of like text messages and stuff. But the games are really bad too because I'm really into Candy Crush. I just got sucked into it. So moving on, let's see. What would you imagine life to be like in a world without any time at all? Anybody want to go for that? Anybody? Okay, how about... If you hadn't gone already, I would have picked you. How about Diana?
Hello everyone, thanks for being here. A life without any time. When she said that, it reminded me of a movie called In Time, which focuses on how precious time is. And if you get a chance to watch the movie, please do. But what I got out of this movie is that if you focus on what you need to do during time, you see the value in it. As young people, sometimes we don't because we think that life is just going to go on forever, that, you know, we're immortal. But in reality, what happens is, you know, you come to the day where you kind of have like just a little bit of time left and you don't know what to do with that. So I feel that time, if there wasn't any time at all, there really wouldn't be a chance for you to explore yourself and do what you wanted with that time. So I think that time is a gift and that we should really pay attention to what we do with it.
Thank you, Diana. That was very deep and insightful. So the next question that I have is, give your best rendition of how you think time came to be. You can totally get creative with this. Come on, Casey. I know you wanted to. What was that?
How time came to be. I'm very into mythology. Just in chemistry today, I was going through my phone looking up Norse mythology, looking up Odin and Yggdrasil, and all that stuff. And I love mythology, so I often think about that whenever I think about, you know, topics that are very kind of vague. So, how time came to be. According to the Greeks, you don't hear about this very often, you hear about Zeus, but chaos came to be. He was the first being in existence, and he brought with him night and darkness, which seems kind of redundant having night and darkness, but that's what he did. So eventually, the Titans came to be, and you have Kronos, the god of time. So time didn't really exist until nature existed, so I think probably time came to be when things needed to be timed, when there needed to be something, when life came to be, I guess, when something had to have a clock. So that's how time came to be.
Thanks, Casey, for giving a stab at that one. I know I threw you for a loop with that random question. So the last question of the night is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever gotten as far as how to be good at time management? I'm gonna put Anthony.
Thank you, Ms. Topics Master. So when I think about time management, I think of my grandpa because he is the absolute best time manager there is. He keeps a schedule every day. He has a to-do list. He breaks down his priorities, top priorities here, maybe medium priorities and low priorities. So I think that's really the best tip I've ever gotten, was to build a daily schedule. Because once you write it down and you have to look at it, then you're committed to doing it. If you see that you have to call grandma, and then you say, oh, I didn't call grandma today, I gotta do it tomorrow. You write it down tomorrow, you see you didn't call grandma. You realize how bad of a grandson you're being. For time management, you have to see what you want to do before you do it. And so really, if you prioritize what you have to do, and write this down, have it in a different set, high, low, medium priorities, then I think you can really master time management. It's really a task that's quite difficult, and to promulgate, I didn't use it. To promulgate my opinions on time management is to say that I think it's very important. That's it.
Nice job, nice job.
Do you have time for me to take a stab at this one?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't come up with this analogy. I read it on the internet. Some guy said it. He's now dead. I don't know his name. Google it. Basically, what this man promulgated as he stood up in front of this audience, much as I'm doing right here. He had some props, but I did not bring any with me because I have no idea we're going to be speaking about this. He takes out a jar. He sets it on his podium. He takes out rocks, puts it next to the jar. Takes out gravel, puts it next to the rocks. Takes out sand, puts it next to the gravel. And takes out a cup of water and puts that next to the sand. He doesn't say anything to the audience. Nobody knows what the heck this guy's doing. So he takes the jar, picks up the rocks, starts stuffing them in the jar. Everybody's like, okay, this guy's crazy. He takes the gravel, sticks it among the rocks. They're like, what is he doing? Takes the sand, sweeps it, into the jar to kind of rest among the pockets of gravel. Nobody knows what he's doing. Takes the water, pours it in, kind of, fills up all the empty spots until the jar is completely full. So he takes this concoction, this jar full of rocks, gravel, sand, and water, shakes it up, holds it up for the audience to see, and he says, can anybody tell me what this all means? The audience is quiet for a while until eventually the guy decides to take a stab at it. He says, well, the point is you always have more room in your schedule. You just have to try to find, those empty spaces and fill them with what you can. And the speaker says, no, that's wrong. The point is, if I hadn't put the rocks in first, would I have ever gotten any of this stuff inside of the jar? So the point here is prioritize. Decide what the rocks are in your life, put those first. Find the gravel, the things that are maybe less important than your relationships, job, etc. Maybe hobbies, things like that. That could be your gravel. Sand, I would describe that as maybe trivial pursuits, your passing interests, your fleeting interests, things that you like to do in your spare time. Then you have your water, which is, watching, catching up on Breaking Bad, doing simple things like that. So, best advice I ever got on time management. Thank you.